interesting topic today. We have never talked about this before. So for the 19 of us here, this is exclusive material, okay? Got to thinking, it's always a little bit dangerous when that happens, but this in this world that we're in right now, in 2024, going into 2025, being broke is a choice. Being broke is a choice because there are many opportunities out there for individuals to go from zero to extremely wealthy. And we've seen that happen time and time again. There are so many opportunities. But because of that, there's a couple things that happen. There's a little bit of analysis by paralysis by analysis. Is that the right way, Tom? Paralysis by analysis. So it's what's the right opportunity for me? What's legitimate and what's not legitimate? So many questions. How do I even get started? How do I know I am in the right industry? How do I know I am in the right opportunity for me? And this isn't necessarily just about being wealthy, right, in terms of money. This is about being wealthy in terms of experiencing all of life that you want to experience. Getting to the point to where you are financially free, so you don't have to worry. You don't have to stress about going to the grocery store. You don't have to stress about putting gas in your car. You don't have to stress about a family vacation that you really need. You guys, science shows we as humans, we need vacations. We do. We need breaks. We need time away because that's when we do our best thinking. That's when we are our most creative. That's when our nervous system gets a chance to settle the heck down because most of the time on a day-to-day basis, we're operating at such a high level and we have so much like sensory overload that the average human in at least our country in today's day and age is usually operating in some level of like flight, fight, freeze mode most of the time. Like we are just high energy, high like nervous system activity. So we need those opportunities to take a break and regroup. So not having to stress about doing that is super, super important. Sorry, my notifications are going off here. So how do the wealthy start out? So we know we need to get to this point, right? I think throw a 1 in the chat if you'd like to get to the point where you don't have to worry about that stuff. Like money is not one of your 99 problems, okay? Like that, take that out of the equation. So how do we get there? How do we get there and can we get there? So I did some research on how the wealthy start out. Now we're not talking like the Kennedys. We don't want to start out like they did. We're not talking like those generational families that just have some old school wealth that's not an opportunity for us today. It's how do our present day wealthy individuals actually get started? Like how does that happen from zero to that point? So we're going to go through a couple points here on how they did that, okay? So first and foremost, everyone who has gotten to a certain level of wealth in this country started by having educational and skill development, meaning they invest in getting good at their craft and in other areas that build them wealth. So they pursue skills that have a high income potential, okay? Insurance is one of the wealthiest industries in the world, and it has been that way for over 100 years. It is one of the wealthiest. The companies in the world that are the wealthiest tend to be in the insurance world more often than not. I don't know if I said that the right way, but you know what I mean. It produces more self-made millionaires than any other industry in the world, okay? So the cool thing about that is here in Symmetry, we have an opportunity to really hone in on that first point of education and skill development. We have Summit, which is a free resource for every single one of our agents to help us improve our skills and get really, really good at helping families very, very quickly. So you can go from freshly licensed, still trying to figure out what the heck you just learned in that pre-licensing course and how the heck you retained enough of it to pass that stupid test that we all love. So you're there, but you can go from there to actually proficiently helping a family. And you know what's crazy? You go from getting your license to getting through Summit, and you are more of an expert than I would say 85% of the people in this country when it comes to insurance, and probably higher than that. You know a lot more about finances and wealth management than the average human just by getting your license. And then you go through that course and you're that much further. So you have that as a free resource to set you up quickly in a couple of days. Okay. We also have Quility U. So you can actually become even more proficient in your skills on your own time. You can learn about IULs. You can learn about annuities. You can learn about children's life policies. You can learn about final expense. You can learn more about each carrier because all of these carriers have information on their site to where you can get proficient at each of these and how they work. There are Facebook groups dedicated to helping agents become more proficient. There are weekly training calls that Symmetry hosts every single week that you can get in and learn and get a little bit better. Symmetry has a blog. Did you know that? Every Saturday, they release a blog post that just gives you more information about life insurance and why certain people should have it. They cover different topics every single week. So it's really, really good information for you to just arm yourself. So first step, grow that education and skill area so that you can become proficient in a high income potential industry. Boom. We've got that right here, right here. Hunter, I know you wanted to expand on that point too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, one of the things I love about this opportunity here is that the education and the training is really, it's kind of like one of those old school three-legged stools that we all had when we were little, right? First leg of that stool is pre-licensing. You're learning about insurance. You're learning what it is, what it means, the terms, the products, all of that. The second leg, okay, is Summit. Now that you know what it is, Summit is going to teach you excuse me, got some granola stuck in my throat there. Summit's going to teach you how to sell it. Okay. So understand the separation between the two because pre-licensing is all your background information, right? That's like your high school. Okay. Summit is the rapid fire college where you actually get to learn how to take this theoretical knowledge of what insurance is and put it into practice in the most effective way possible to actually help your clients. It's not what is it, it's how does it work and how does it help me? And then, of course, the third leg of that, and this is where I see so many people get held up here, is the actual on-the-job training, right? Getting out into the street, meeting with clients, learning, making mistakes, cleaning up that mess and learning from it and moving on. Because you could spend 6 months here going through pre-licensing, going through Summit as far as you can get, going through all of Quility U and never make a dollar. Okay. So it's the ability to take those first two legs, use those to build the third, start that on the job training and continue to hone your craft there. That's really going to help you achieve that level of profitability.
Yep. You can go from barely understanding how a bank account works, me, barely understanding how a bank account works, to being a proficient financial professional in less than a year without going to college. You pay for your licensing and that's it. That's what we have here. And I love that, Hunter. I also liken it to learning a language. Like the first leg is you're in the classroom, you're figuring out like the words and the sentence structure, and you're figuring out how to read it and write it. Then you're actually learning how to get out into the world and speak it. And then you're learning the next level of actually understanding the culture that you're in and the different like mannerisms and all of that. So you got to start there with everything that you learn. And that's a really good analogy, the three-legged stool. I like that. I like that. But again, you got to have that opportunity to grow in your craft. And we have that here. The second point is financial literacy. Every single person who has gotten to a position of wealth understands money management. They understand budgeting. They understand investing, and they understand financial planning. Guess what, you guys? We have all of that here built into our industry already. We have trainings and courses that allow you to do that. We have IULs that are designated for wealth management. We have annuities that help you plan and be able to better retire with money that's protected. We have a debt-free life program that actually gets you completely out of debt in 7 years or less. We have the products here, and you loop that into point number one and you learn how they work and how to use them. Boom, it's all in one place. It's all here available for you to understand and grow, and then share that with others, which then helps you grow even more and helps them. So understanding that, and I think another point that I want to make here is realizing that you do have to spend money to make money. That's why we have leads that we purchase. That's why every single business owner has to invest in their business. And we're going to get into that point here, but has to do that to be able to see it grow. You need to invest in marketing. People have to know that you exist. And you can't just walk down the street and tell people you exist and hope to be profitable. You got to get out there. That's what our leads do. And that's what people who are proficient in the business world understand. They have to invest in the business. They have to invest in themselves becoming proficient to get to that point of actually being there. They have to go through that grind first. So that's a huge, huge point. Hunter, did you have a point on this one that you wanted to make too?
No, no, I think that one pretty much speaks for itself, guys. Bottom line here is own and know what you're selling, right? We sell financial tools to help people protect themselves. Why not do the same for you? Why not use that leverage to help grow your own portfolio as well?
Yeah. I mean, Hunter and I, when Brooks was 2 weeks old, we got him a life insurance policy. And it's not designed, I mean, yeah, it'll pay out if something happens, God forbid. But what it's also going to do is it's a college fund. It can also be a retirement fund. So by the time he's older, he's going to have a cash value account that is substantial and he can use that for anything that he needs. That's a huge living benefit. And because we did that, because we went through and learned what that does and how to effectively use it, it's so easy to talk about. All our friends who have kids, we're like, hey, do you have something for them? Because what is it, Mom? We were talking about this the other day. Is it a 501? Is that what the traditional college plan used to
The
be?
509.
520,
509,
Oh,
509,
wait, what?
529.
529. Okay, we were
529.
circling it. You stop,
Yeah,
but
which you can only use for college or for some sort of secondary education, correct?
yeah, and the thing about them too is so like I had it set up for all three of you guys, and Turner didn't use all of his. So it was really difficult to get that money transferred to one of the other two. Because they said he can keep that in there, and then when he has kids, he can use it. But the thing is, it's set up for that individual for their college, specifically only college or education expenses. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a four-year university, but it's just education expenses. So and it's really, you have to provide a lot of paperwork to prove that it is actually a college expense that you're using it for. So they're very restrictive. These
Very
policies that Paige is talking about, they can use the money for whatever they want. And those 529s are subject to market fluctuations.
Mm-hmm.
And let me throw another one out there for you parents who are hearing this for the first time. 529 funds are reportable as income when you're doing things like financial aid, student loans, things like that. Life insurance policies are not, meaning you don't have to report any of what you have in a cash value life insurance account in order to be eligible for financial aid. They're protected from lawsuits. They're protected from bankruptcy in a way that 529s are not. So yeah, just a little pro tip out there. If anybody wants help in kind of talking a little bit deeper about that, please do reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the point being here is if we didn't take the time to learn that and do it and apply it for our family, now we both have life insurance policies that are designed to do the same thing. It's structured a little bit differently because we didn't get these when we were 2 weeks old, but it's designed to be able to build wealth and use that money to then invest in other things. And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that and they can start somewhere and grow. And the thing is it's all compounding, right? So the point here is those who get to a certain level understand that they need to invest and build wealth in strategic ways. And we have numerous products that can do that for us, all built in under one umbrella. Okay. Now, the third point here is those who become financially free, wealthy, stable, whatever that word means for you, they all have a side hustle / a business that will grow over time. Now, the beautiful thing is, for most people who start here, this is the side hustle. This is the thing that they're doing on top of their full-time 9 to 5 hourly job that they ultimately want to grow into something that pays them like a business, right? And the cool thing is here, you're able to build a team and you can start doing that from day one that ultimately gets to the point where you are not in the field anymore. You are not meeting with clients if you don't want to. You've got income coming in from the activity of your big, fat, juicy team that you've built. And that gives you further opportunity because you have time now. You're making money without physically having to go out and earn it. Now you can spend that time doing something else, building wealth in a different area, developing your team further, making that even bigger. That's what happens here is they start off with an industry and a business that grows and has a high potential. And we're here right now. This is that. This is one of the tried and true oldest, most stable ways of doing that. It's recession proof, it's pandemic proof. I built a whole agency during a pandemic, like having no experience. So I know that from my own experience. So if you're going to find a side hustle, y'all are in the right place. I say that to say. Okay, and I said this earlier, there are more self-made millionaires in the insurance industry than any other industry out there. Okay. The fourth point, build a network. So they surround themselves with like-minded people, successful people that help them learn and stay motivated. I wonder if we have that here. I wonder if we have that here. We
Is
just
it
pull
like
up that
like a cornerstone or something like that?
maybe a core value. Yeah, like maybe the last slide that we show every single Monday here, right? A place to connect with like-minded people. We've got team calls every day of the week. We have the Microsoft Teams chat, which is full of people like us, right? That want to be successful in this industry and are willing to do what it takes to get there. We've got the Zoom calls, like I said, we've got the Zoom office, the Miller office, where you're in there hearing other people at varying stage of this journey, doing their thing, getting better. We've got live events. We've got boot camps all over the country. We've got our conferences. We have all sorts of opportunities. And really, if you're not a part of them, that's entirely your choice. And that's the difference here is if you've got that wealth mindset of, I want this for my family. This is going to give me everything that I ever wanted. This is going to give us the opportunity to be a financially free, a stress-free family. We can do this. We have this life, and that's the way to do it. They have that mindset of they're willing to make that happen. And that just means showing up. That just means being at the things, surrounding yourself with the other people that want that. And that's a choice. That's entirely a choice. Hunter, I think you had another point on this one too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to pause on this one and kind of reflect back on all of the points you've made up to, I'm going to say it again, up to this point.
It's like a buzzword. Point is our buzzword today.
Point's the buzzword for the day. And also kind of do a little foreshadowing for what's to come because guys, all of this that Paige has been talking about this morning, all of these are things you can go do, right? They're all going to come with some sort of associated cost, right? Education and skill development, you can pay to go to college, right? Financial literacy, you can take courses from Dave Ramsey of all people if you want to. Anybody can go start a side hustle. Anybody can go out and build a network. But where else in the world, okay, where else in the corporate environment are you going to find an infrastructure that encompasses all of those that's available to you for the cost of an insurance license? Where else do you find an organization that gives you all of that upfront? Symmetry provides you training free of charge, right? To continue and grow your skills. Symmetry gives you access to courses for free that teach you about financial literacy and how to more effectively manage your money. As Paige brought up, for a lot of you, this is a side hustle right from the beginning, and it's a business that's going to grow over time. Symmetry gives you access to a network of like-minded agents who are here to help you grow and build your business. So all of these things that a typical entrepreneur without the advantages of Symmetry would have to go and find and create and discover on their own are available to you here. This is what we say when we talk about this being not just a job, but a roadmap for entrepreneurship. All of these factors that build wealth, that build businesses are laid out here for you from day one. And I think that's a very powerful thing to remind ourselves of from time to time, because it gives us an advantage in this entrepreneurial environment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Next point, finding mentors. Those that have that mindset know that they need to keep learning from someone who is already where they want to be. So they look for mentors for guidance, for insight. There are endless opportunities here. And the fun thing is, most of the time, when you're here for a minute, you'll see that a lot of us have mentors that are outside of our direct upline, that are sometimes even outside of our hierarchy, because that's the culture at Symmetry. You're going to find people when you attend a conference or you attend a boot camp or you listen in on a Zoom call, you're going to find people that you just vibe with, that just speak in a way that you can see yourself speaking like. There are just people like that. And the thing is it's okay if you hear somebody on a call and they just light you up, but you just think, I don't know if I can get away with saying things the same way that they say it. But then you hear somebody else who does say things in a way that you can hear yourself saying. That's great. You get the best of both worlds. You get to listen to this person, they can light you up, but then you can speak to this person as a mentor and ask them, hey, how would you handle this situation? How would you respond to this? What are you reading? What are you chiming into? What podcasts are you listening to? Finding out what these people that are right where you want to be are doing. The best copycat wins here. And that's what we have, is an opportunity for you to be connected with people outside of just our hierarchy as well, that can help that for you in many different ways. It's honestly, sky's the limit here. I've had numerous different mentors throughout my journey here, some within this hierarchy, some outside of, and it's just up to you to find them and make that connection. Now, I do want to mention one point on the mentor track, and I'm not sure, Hunter, if you had a point for this one or not, but the thing is mentors are going to grow and be there for certain seasons of your life, meaning you may have the same mentor for 10 years. You might, but you might have a certain mentor for 6 months and they really help you get to where you need to go. But then sometimes you outgrow a mentor, and that's nothing against that mentor. It just means that you have gotten what you need through that experience, to where now it's time to go find another mentor that's going to help take you to the next level, because I bet they're doing the same thing. So just understand that a mentor, the idea of that is an evolving thing, and you should be growing and moving and continuing to expand and network with other people that are going to help to continue to elevate you. And that's a habit of a highly successful person, is they understand when they've gotten to the point of outgrowing a certain mentor's guidance, and then they move on to the next. So mentorship is huge. Listening to how other people think, how other people communicate, what they do, what are their habits, what's their life like, and how can you copy that to get to what you want to get. Hunter, did you want to add something on here?
Please. And guys, I want to tie this back into the very first point about education and skill development, because you've heard this said over and over again here, right? We are a leadership development company that happens to sell insurance. And it's so true. And it starts with the culture that this company created right from the beginning in 2009. See, the product here really doesn't matter all that much, right? The product could be, I don't know, universal garage door openers. Let's call it that, because I've been dealing with that all weekend. But the product could really be anything. It's about the mindset, the development, the coaching that really makes the Symmetry system valuable. It's a group of people who are willing and able to step in and help you achieve your goals. That's valuable. And it's the growth of you as a leader, so you can continue that trend in the future. See, the people who come in here and they just focus on selling insurance, they don't leave a legacy behind them. People who come in here and just focus on putting money into their own pocket without participating in the system, they don't make the impact. But the people who come in here and embrace all aspects of this culture, all aspects of this knowledge, learning leadership and personal development, as well as sales tools, those are the ones who you end up seeing on stage in Denver. Those are the ones who are attracting 3,000 people when they're guest hosting on the national call. Those are the people leaving an impact and a legacy behind. So I encourage you, as you kind of look at this, to not take any of these as their own individual silo, but realize that it's all part of a bigger whole. If you're going to grow your sales skills, you're going to have to grow and personally develop. If you're going to grow your team, you're going to have to grow your leadership. Take it all encompassing in one. It's so important.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, that's a really good point. It's about figuring out that this is all bigger than any one of us individually. So when you come in and lean into the system that's been built by hundreds, if not thousands, of different personalities, different experiences, different skill levels, different just backgrounds, then you'll know that this is designed with that in mind. It's designed to help anyone from any situation, any starting point, get to that level of financial freedom that we're talking about. 2 more points on this, and then we'll close her down. So next point is those who become wealthy, they understand that to get to that point, they have to live below their means for a while. It's that delayed gratification. So they control their expenses and save aggressively, meaning they resist unnecessary debt and lifestyle inflation. This doesn't mean they're scared to spend money on their business. In fact, they do. They invest in their business. We already talked about that. But this means they don't go out and buy all those luxury items before they can actually afford them. Or when they feel like they're starting to make it, they go and spend all their money and then they put themselves back into a hole. Okay. The big thing here, you guys, is staying profitable in your business, making sure that no matter what, you are staying profitable. A big fatal flaw that we see a lot of people go through or commit here is they take themselves out of the field too early. So maybe you hit business or agency owner, you hit that level of being a business owner and you think, I don't need to be an active agent anymore. I need to focus on my team. And the thing is if you feel that way, you're typically doing it too early. You'll know when the time is right. And if you're doing it too soon, you're going to see the ramifications of that. So making sure you're being very smart and very conscious of where you're spending your time and staying in a profitable place. Making sure that they're purchasing things that they can afford. So again, living below their means, not being extravagant. There's going to be a time and a place for that if you do this right now. It's not forever. You don't have to live a lifestyle below your means well, I mean, you should always live below your means, but you don't have to live in this way forever, right? Sometimes it feels like you're kind of grinding, you're kind of hustling. Maybe you're eating a little bit more ramen than you'd like to, but you're building a life down the road where you can say yes more often. You can say yes to everything that you want. Okay. So getting to that point, wouldn't it be worth a little bit of sacrifice for a few months to live that life forever? I'd say yes. And that's what the wealthy people understand is sacrifice now, delayed gratification now is going to lead to that life that they're building and that they're aiming for. And the last point here is reinvesting gains. So again, putting the money back into your business, helping it grow. Businesses need that in the beginning. They need that time, energy, and that monetary investment. The thing is we are in an industry that has the lowest barrier to entry. All it takes is an insurance license to come in here and make this thing happen. But it takes a lot of sweat equity, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time, but it's all going towards your business. It's all going toward your empire. It's all going toward your future. So you know that it's not wasted. You're not just showing up, exhausting yourself for somebody else. This is all for you. This is all for your future. And that's what wealthy people understand is they're putting their energy in the right place to build something that much bigger down the road. And the more energy put in now, the more time, the more money, the more resources invested now, the bigger it's going to be down the road because that all compounds on the way. Again, it's only short term. You're only in that like struggle phase for a short period of time. And maybe that short period of time is a couple of years. But if you're struggling and you're grinding and you're just putting in all the effort, you're just inputting for 5 years, and then the next 30 years, you're living the life that you want, is that worth it? It may not feel like it right now sometimes, but down the road, when you're living that life that you wanted, you're going to think, I'm glad I stuck it out. I'm glad I kept doing those habits that I learned I was supposed to do. I'm glad I kept investing when I didn't want to and I felt like I couldn't. I'm glad I did that because I'm living the life now that I wanted to live. Hunter, back to you really quick.
Absolutely. And guys, what I want you to think about here in terms of reinvestment is the concept of business overhead, right? Now, as Paige said, this business has the lowest barrier to entry of anything of its kind, right? When you consider the profits that you're able to make here. So if you think about, an average brick and mortar business, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment before you can even open the doors. The time to make that back is the reason that most businesses in this country fail in their first year. Something like 82% of businesses, right, fail in their first year. Think about what the actual overhead required for you to be here is. $300 for an insurance license. You already have a computer, you already have a phone, you already have internet. Think about then your ongoing investment. It's leads. We start people generally at around $200 a week and then look to grow that as you're profitable. But if I were to tell any of you, right? Any of you, hey, come with me to Vegas, bring $200. As soon as we get there, you're going to hand me that $200. And 3 days later, I'm going to hand you back $2,500. Would anybody say no to that?
No way.
And after I handed you back that $2,500, I said, now give me $400. And in 3 days, I'm going to hand you $5,000. Would you take that bet too? See, when you work this system the way that it's designed to, you start low, you build, you reinvest, and you grow. It's called scaling your income. And if you want a proof of that, take a look at Ashley Richard, who decided she wanted to write $100,000 3 months in a row. So what did she go do? She went out and upped her lead spend a little over $8,000 a month. And that enabled her to write $100,000 in business. Now, that can seem massive right now. I'm not advocating anybody go into debt and spend $8,000 a month when you're brand new, but keep that concept forefront in your mind. The more you invest, the more you stand to return, the more you stand to earn, and the quicker you pay off that initial investment into this business. Because if we look at the average agent coming in here, that initial investment should be paid back in 1 to 2 policies. You do this successfully 1 to 2 times, you will have made back all the money you invested on licensing and your initial leads. That's it. So from there, everything is in the black. No other business entrepreneurship opportunity offers you that speed to be back to level. Absolutely nothing. So don't be afraid of reinvestment. Know that if you grow and develop your skills, if you associate, if you pursue the right mentors, then your reinvestment is just as guaranteed as me telling you, give me 200, I'm going to give you 2,500. You can't lose. All you have to do is work that system.
Yep. It's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift. Spending money on things that are going to give you a return versus things that just appreciate. That's a mindset shift. You're going to be spending the money. It's hard to go through life without spending money. But what direction are you spending it? Is it going to be something that comes back to you tenfold? Or is it going to be something that's just going to rot in your driveway? Mindset.
I feel like that was an underhanded dig at my trailer.
It's not, well, kind of an underhanded dig at your trailer, but that's all right. So again, how the wealthy start out. First and foremost, education and skill development. You got to get good at your craft and you got to continue to expand that knowledge. And that's a huge way of building confidence. Being proficient, understanding what you're doing and the ins and the outs, that builds confidence as well as, again, that proficiency. Second point, financial literacy, understanding money management, understanding budgeting, understanding investing, understanding that how to build wealth. You have to put money in and let it grow. You got to let it compound. And there are certain avenues that you can do that. And we have those avenues here. Almost all of them, in fact, I would venture to say all of those that are self-made millionaires in today's day and age came from having a side hustle, one that promises a high profit margin, one that has that opportunity to grow. So the right business models are here. They're right in front of you of what you can put your time in now, and it's going to pay you back in dividends down the road. It's an industry that grows, that sustains anything that's been thrown at it so far, and it's had a lot thrown at it. But knowing that you are in the right place, you just got to put your time in now. It's going to feel like a hustle. It's going to feel like a grind, but down the road, it's worth it. You're in the right place. Building a network, being around like-minded people. Guys, you can join a Facebook group. You can join a community of entrepreneurs in your area. There are so many ways. There's really no excuse for finding a network of like-minded people. There's no excuse. Just takes looking for them. Finding mentors, people who are a little bit further down the road than you, figuring out how they think, how they operate, what decisions they're making, what their habits are. What are they listening to? What are they watching? What are they feeding into their minds? Again, endless opportunities for that. You can scroll down your Facebook newsfeed and just see someone who's winning, someone who's doing it. Follow them for a while. See what happens. Reach out to them. Ask them a couple questions. That's going to drastically change. Sometimes you have to step out of the box, out of your own box, and figure out what you're missing. Take a bigger look. They live below their means, so they're not spending extravagantly when they start making money. They're understanding that the delayed gratification is important. Investing wisely into their business, putting money back into the areas that are going to grow tenfold, and understanding that that's the sacrifice that's going to lead to much, much, much bigger rewards in a couple years, maybe even sooner. And then reinvesting gains, again, putting the money back in. I think I already touched on this, but making sure that you know that you need to stay profitable. You can't have a business if you don't continue to reinvest in it. So putting that money, energy, resources, time into the right place is going to continue to build that thing. And soon that business is going to have its own legs and you won't need to do as much. And that's the goal. The goal is not to stay in your business forever. The goal is to get to the point to where that thing runs by itself. You can go focus on another business to build up. And that's how the wealthy do it. That's how the wealthy do it. So the last thing I wanted to touch on here before closing us down is all this is great, right? All this is great in theory. It's very practical. It makes sense, I think, to most people. But what separates ultimately those that do it and those that don't? Fear. Fear separates. Because a common mistake that people make is they think fear is a warning. It's an alarm bell. It's a signal. Means maybe I shouldn't do something. I'm afraid. I feel uncomfortable. My palms are sweaty. Knees weak. Arms are heavy, right? I feel that. I feel it. Does that mean I shouldn't do this? Is that a sign? No. Fear just means you're going to do something that you haven't done before. Fear only comes from the unknown. That's why we get scared. We don't know how something's going to turn out. We don't know what's going to happen. So understand that that fear is not a warning signal in this case, right? In some cases it is, okay? If you're about to jump off a building, yeah, that could be a warning signal. But in this case, before making a decision, before taking some sort of risk, fear is going to happen. And the difference between those who make it, those who live that life that they set out to live, and those who don't are the ones that continue to work through the fear. Those that act in spite of, not run away from, right? So understand that fear does not mean it's a bad idea. Fear just means it's different. It's new. It's a risk. But with risk comes reward. With calculated risk comes reward. How do you know if it's a calculated risk? You see others that are winning. You see other people winning with the same model that you have available to you. You see people that have come from the same circumstances, if not worse than you, and they have figured it out. You see that. You can see that here. You pop onto any call, you're going to see leaderboards. You're going to see people winning. So you know that it's there. You know that you can do this. Don't let that fear consume you. Act in spite of it. Take the next step anyway. It's going to go away. That fear will go away. So that's all I have for you guys. Have a great, happy, wonderful, fearful Monday, but know that that fear is a good thing. It just means something new is coming. So have a great one, you guys. Until next week. Bye.